So this caught my eye the other day, and this has the potential to be big news, but a group of far-right media figures is now using social media to recruit for a newly formed militia. They're recruiting on Instagram, even though previously that company has cracked down on militias. But here's some of the people right here. I don't know how many of these I know. Jeff Crueri, Jake Lang, Cooey Griffin, Pete Santilli, I think I've heard of that guy. Maureen Steele, Stu Peters, I've heard of him. Silk from Diamond and Silk is going to be in a militia? What? Anne Vandersteel. I'm sorry, Anne. That sounds like a total porn star name. Here, let's dive into this a little bit. A group of far-right media figures has announced the formation of a militia group that is dedicated to mobilizing to defend this republic from any enemy. The newly formed group includes Rumble streamers Pete Santilli and Stu Peters, who have both called for political opponents to be killed. The militia has established several social media accounts with the apparent aim of recruiting members, including an account on Instagram. On June 3rd, podcaster and alleged January 6th participant Jake Lang announced a national constitutional militia called the North American Patriot and Liberty Militia, or NAPALM for short. Lang claimed that NAPALM was organized and ready to mobilize to defend this republic from any enemy, foreign or domestic. Lang, who wrote that he would serve as national chairman of the militia group, faces multiple charges of assaulting law enforcement officers, Jesus, and has been held in jail ahead of his September trial for his alleged crimes and what a judge called a continued willingness to engage in violence. The militia's site, which was linked in the announcement post, claims that the militia already has over 20,000 plus members across all 50 states, including active sheriffs, military, veterans, emergency responders, doctors, farmers, entrepreneurs, and blue-collar Americans. Besides Lang, the site claims that several far-right figures are allegedly involved with the militia. So these are a bunch of the people who we just mentioned. Rochelle Richardson is actually Silk's real name. In addition to those featured on the site, Lang also claimed that several other right-wing figures are involved, including Mindy Robinson, Anthony Sabatini, James Brett. I don't know any of these people. Some of these were on the list from before. But anyway, yeah, they're serious. They've formed a militia. So now here's what I'm going to ask you guys, because this is one I struggle with, right? Part of me wants to do the, oh my God, you fucking goofballs. Like, I want to laugh at it, and I want to make fun of it, and I want to mock it. Part of me reacts like that, because it's like, I'm sure some of the people, the 20,000 people who signed up on this, signed up from their couch, eating Cheetos, drinking, whatever, Budweiser, and they're 17 beers deep, and they're watching their fourth Fox News show in a row, and they're like, that's right, I'm going to go defend the country, man, I'm going to defend the country, bro. Meanwhile, they got a fucking, one of those scooters because they can't walk without it, right? So part of me wants to have that reaction, like, this is goofy. But then the other part of me is like, well, hold on now. We had the Proud Boys, and we had the various militias that were involved in January 6th, and what happened there, and a lot of them went to prison, right? And some of the people involved in this group, as I just read for you, have been violent in the past, are promising to be violent again. Probably are going to say the election is stolen no matter what happens. Let's say Biden wins and it's fair and square. They'll still say it was stolen and they'd want to act on it. So I'm actually kind of torn between mocking, laughing, making fun of, and being like, holy shit, maybe this is something we should take seriously. So I don't know, man. I'm curious what you guys think. But let me also say this. There's a decent chance this shit is already packed full of feds. That even some of the main people who are affiliated with it. Because remember, what was the guy's name? I'm blanking on it. But the Hispanic dude who was the head of the Proud Boys, he apparently was working with the feds the entire time. Remember that? The guy who was he was on Tim Pool's show and shit. Apparently that guy was working with the feds. There were allegations that dude, remember the... was it the walk away campaign where he was like, I used to be a Democrat. No, I'm not. No, I left the left and all that stuff. He was allegedly ratting on a lot of the other January 6 people who were there to save his own ass. There was some reporting about that. But anyway, this may already be packed full of feds, right? And then that might open the door. Maybe it'll be the feds who are like, hey, we should have another January 6, bro. What do you think? You think we should do that? I think maybe we should do that. And then they take him down. Because look, here's the thing about what's going to happen with this coming election. Part of me thinks we could very well have another January 6th type shit if Trump loses. But then the other part of me thinks he's called for massive protests in the past when he would go to various court dates and like 12 people would show up. And so there are a lot of people who realized what happened on January 6th, and a lot of those people got locked up, and they're not going to risk it. They're not going to take the chance because they are convinced, whether or not it's true, that a lot of these militias and these kinds of groups are already infiltrated by the feds and they're being set up, they're being entrapped to commit crimes, and so they stay away. So it's very possible we still get the outbreak of violence and disorder and rioting on behalf of Trump people if Biden wins. It's also possible motherfucker goes out with a whimper. He could lose, and then he goes out with a whimper. But it's also possible he wins, right? And then what happens? What happens with goofballs like this, assuming this is real and assuming it's not infiltrated by feds, by like 80 feds, right? Then I don't know. But this is not something that you see the left do. The left never does this. There's no like weird militia packed full of people who are totally unbalanced and freakish. That's not a thing. And honestly, that's probably more of a point of pride than anything. So anyway, there you have it. You guys tell me, is it something to make fun of? Is it hilarious? Is it dumb? Or is it like, hey dog, keep your eye on this because this could go badly. This could go badly. We've seen upticks of far-right terrorism and extremism in the past. Under the Clinton administration, for some reason, there was a massive uptick of far-right terrorism. Is it something that, we'll see again? I don't know. You tell me. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.